dust removers. Welcome back to my channel where we are taking our love for dance to the next level. If there is one thing that I cannot stand, it's when I'm in a heels class, you know, I'm feeling myself, feeling a little sexy, if you will, and then bam, I go and I slip on the floor. Dancing in a heel is all about, you know, accentuating the feminine, and it's really hard to get into that character if you're constantly slipping or if you're worried about slipping. So we're gonna handle that right now. In this video, I'm gonna share with you guys my 6 tips for making your dance heels less slippery. And none of these involve putting those little adhesive grips on the bottom of your shoes because those are pointless and they come off from dancing and twisting on the soles of your shoes anyway. So we're not even gonna deal with that. But before we jump into this video, please be sure to give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I have a couple of other heels related videos here on this channel. If you haven't seen those already, go check those out too. And once you have subscribed, let's jump into this video. So my first tip for making your dance heels less slippery is to remove any excess hair off of the bottoms of your shoes. When I would take classes from Aisha Francis, if you know Aisha Francis, you know that she is well known for her head whips. That's like, you know, the quintessential Aisha Francis move. And so we would do them across the floor, in the center, it'd be in the middle of the choreography, and from all of that hair whipping, you get a lot of hair on the floor from shedding. And it's not a huge deal, it's not nasty, but it is a pain because if the hair is fine and it sticks to your shoes, then it can make your heels really slippery without you even realizing that that's the cause. So if you do realize that your shoes are more slippery than normal, just go ahead and rub the bottoms of your soles of your heels together, and that should get all of the excess hair off without you actually having to like touch it. My second tip for making your dance heels less slippery is to use rosin. Now, if you've grown up in a ballet studio, then you may remember this little wooden box that would be in the back corner of the dance studio or sometimes backstage. And that box would have this like yellow fine sand in it. And that yellow sand is rosin. And dancers in their point shoes would rub it on the box of their point shoes or on the base to make sure that they didn't slip so much when they went to turn and twist on the floor. And the thing is, it also works really great for your heels. This is like the tried and true brand that I have seen most dance studios wearing. I got it off of Amazon, but it's for use on external platform of point shoes, but I also use it just on heels as well because it works really well. You can find this on Amazon. I keep it in my dance bag if I know that I'm gonna be on a floor that is typically really slippery. Put a little bit on the bottom of your shoes. You just step into it and kind of twist your ankles so that you rub the soles of your feet in it, and then that should prevent you from slipping in the studio. But I will also say that I would only use this if you're going to be performing in a heel. Rosin can be really, really messy and honestly a pain to clean up off of dance floors, so I wouldn't advise using it like on a daily basis, but if you know you have a big performance or even like a big audition, make sure if you do use it when you only really need to. My third tip for making your dance heels less slippery is also a little ballet hack, and that is to pat them with a little bit of Coke. So when I was younger, my ballet teacher used to tell me about how back in the day, they would use a mixture of Coke and water and mop the floor with it so that the dance floor would be a little bit more tacky if they found that the dance floor was pretty slippery. So the same can be done for your heels. Just make a little mixture of Coke and water, and then I use like a little sponge and just pat it on the bottom of your shoes. Or if you're finding that it's not soaking into the soles of your shoes very well based on, you know, the material that your shoes are made of, then you can go ahead and just step on the sponge and kind of let it press into the fabric. It's like one of those old school methods that, you know, you can kind of revamp. But yeah, that way you're able to get the same effect without mopping the entire floor. You just kind of put it on your shoes instead. My fourth tip for making your dance heels less slippery is an old backstage hack, and that's to spray them with a bit of hairspray. Hairspray backstage is literally the go-to thing for making things stick. You could use them to make your point shoe ribbon stick, or to make sure your shorts don't ride up, or it's basically like the backstage glue. But it also is really good for making sure that your dance heels don't slip as you dance. Simply just spray a bit of hairspray at the bottom of your shoes And then what I like to do is I kind of like to let it air dry so that it's not pressing the stickiness flat and causing more slippage, if that makes sense. I let it air dry, and then sometimes I'll even tap my fingers on it to create more of a like textured, tacky base. And then from there, it should be pretty easy to dance in them and not feel any more slipping. My fifth tip for making your dance heels less slippery is to pat them on a wet napkin. So this is probably one that you've seen a lot of other dancers do. If I know that I'm going to go take a class and the floor in that class is typically really slippery, before I even go to the studio, I just go to the bathroom, grab a quick napkin, and then wet it and kind of dab some of the excess water off. And then when I walk into the studio, I just put the little napkin next to my stuff on the side of the room so that if I feel that things are getting a little bit slippery when I'm dancing, I just, you know, inconspicuously walk over to my things, tap my shoes on the little napkin, and boom, no more slipping. I will say when I do use this method, sometimes I have to do it 2 or 3 times throughout the class because it does wear off pretty quickly, but it is the least messy out of all of the options. And my 6th and final tip for making your dance heels less slippery is to scuff them up. And we all know that this is something that you can do, but sometimes you may need to actually use a piece of sandpaper instead of just rubbing them on asphalt. But make sure whatever method you use that you're not tracking any dirt onto the dance floor, because that's just going to make it more difficult for everyone else there. So go ahead and scrape your shoes on some asphalt. This will cause the base of your shoe to become more textured and to create more grip as you're dancing so that you slip a little bit less. And that is it, you guys. Those are my 6 quick tips for making your dance heels less slippery. I totally understand how much of a pain it is to be dealing with slippery shoes, and sometimes it has to do with where you purchased them. Sometimes it just happens to be the floor itself. So I hope all of these different methods can either help you, adjust to the floor or adjust to your new pair of shoes. But either way, it won't make you adjust how well you dance. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a like and subscribe and share with a friend if you know they're having an issue with slippery shoes. If you see your girl slip in class, be like, hey, check out this video. And hopefully, if you do subscribe, I'll see you in my next video really soon. Later.